This is Coach Wynn. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on Pioneer Digital Network.
It was November 5th of 2020 when the Lady Pioneers traveled to Walnut Ridge and fell to the Lady Eagles of Williams Baptist. And that was the last time the Lady Pioneers have hit the court. And since then, Christmas has passed, New Year's has passed, Thanksgiving had passed, and over the past few days, 9 inches of snow have passed, and 109 days have passed since the Lady Pioneers have last hit the floor. But they have turned the calendar page, and they are set for volleyball here now in the spring. The first time the Lady Pioneers will have spring volleyball. Has been a strange year, but we're excited and ready for Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball. Good evening and welcome to the Carter Activity Center. I'm Dustin Seymour, the Sports Information Director here at Crowley's Ridge College. I am joined by quite possibly my favorite Crowley's Ridge athlete of all time, and I can say that. Most sports information directors are unable to say that, but I will gladly say that my partner today is my favorite, not only CRC student athlete, but CRC student and all-around favorite person, as she is my dear wife, Olivia Seymour. Olivia played for the Lady Pioneers for a season and is ready to get back into shape, ready to get back seeing this team in shape. So, Olivia, what is 109 days? That's a long break. And what do the Lady Pioneers need to do to ensure that getting right back into it?
It's very hard to come back after a long break. It's very mental. When you're gone for that long, when you're not in the gym for that long, it's easy to relax. But you have to come back with the same mentality that you started the season with. You have to be ready to put in the work. And unfortunately for these girls, like you said, we had snow problems and everything, and so they haven't been able to be on the court except for the last couple days because we were all snowed in. So that makes it extra difficult. You've got to be strong mentally. You have to know that we're not getting much time on the court, so we have to make it work. And just come in with as much fight as you can muster because this Lyon team is coming in much fresher than our Lady Pioneers.
That's right. Our opponent for today's contest are the Scots of Lyon College. Lyon did not play in the fall. That's kind of one of those things between the differences that are going on. Either you played some games in the fall or you played none at all, and Lyon is that case. Lyon has played 2 games thus far this year. They opened their season with a loss at Cumberland. They were swept by Cumberland and then defeated Philander Smith on February 9th, and so the Lyon Scots will be a little bit more fresh than the Lady Pioneers. Again, Lady Pioneers 109 days since their last home game. Not their last home game, their last game, period. So as we look down the lineup, or at least down the statistics at Crowley's Ridge, 1-12 against a team that's 1-1. So your totals aren't going to be that helpful. You know, Crowley's Ridge has a total of 1,013 points, and Lyon has a total of 161. That's a huge difference, and that's the difference between 13 games and 2 games. So you really have to look at your per set averages and some of those averages, otherwise, because it's just going to be completely askew. And as we look at those kills per set averages, Crowley's Ridge in their 13 games averaged just shy of 7 kills a set. And in their 2 matches, Lyon averages 10.5 kills per set. Crowley's Ridge has a 6.8 attack percentage, whereas Lyon has an 11.4 attack percentage. And so, Olivia, what is that attack percentage, and why is it such a big deal?
Well, attack percentages are calculated based on how many kills you get and productive attacks you get versus how many hitting errors there are. And so you can have negative hitting percentages if you have more errors than kills. And so it's very important to have a high hitting average. You want to be consistent. You don't want to have some games where it's very high and some games where it's negative. You want to kind of build it and keep it level. And so it can be a big factor in these games. Some teams that have high hitting percentages, you have to be ready to block them and you have to be in position. So it is a big influence, and we'll see how it works out today.
Both teams looking at a 1.3 blocks per set. And as far as errors go, Crowley's Ridge has 321 errors. I did not get the average for that. The assists, Crowley's Ridge has 7.9 assists per set, mostly coming from Caitlin Stebleton. Kate Stebleton has 244 assists, being the setter. Pretty much only your setters are going to have assists. You'll have every player will have 3 or 4 assists, but then your setter is going to have in the hundreds, and that is the case tonight. And the Pioneers are led offensively by Olivia Deckelman. Deckelman 17 kills short of the Crowley's Ridge College record for career kills. That record now sits with, it was set last year with Ashley Pyatt getting 686 total kills. And so Olivia Deckelman is going to look to push those kills. My math doesn't look like they're working out, but I'll do some math to make sure. But we know that Olivia Deckelman is knocking on the door of career kills. She is already the most career attacker with 2,324 attacks. KP, Caitlin Perkins, already holds Crowley's Ridge's top mark for career digs. In her 3 seasons, she has 1,557 digs, and she is the best back row libero in Crowley's Ridge College volleyball history, at least in recent years that we have the statistics for. We are nearing our national anthem and our starting lineups, and so we are going to send it down to our public address announcer, Austin Schweihart, who will have our pregame prayer and our national anthem. And on the other side, we'll have the starting lineups and then get you set for this volleyball match between the 1-12 Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneers and the 1-1 Lyon College Scots. Here's PA announcer Austin Schweihart.
For tonight's college volleyball matchup featuring the visiting Scots of Lyon College and your Crowley's Ridge College Pioneers. Before we get this evening, we ask you to please stand, move your caps for our prayer, and then remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for everything you blessed us with. Right now, we ask you to bless this game. Let no one be injured. Let everyone play the best of their abilities. Let everyone have good sportsmanship. All this we ask in your son's name. Amen.
And we welcome you back. Nothing says America quite like Russians. One of Russia's greatest composers, that being Igor Stravinsky's take on the American Star-Spangled Banner. But we are going to look now down our starting lineups. We will introduce to you the Scots of Lyon College. Again, Lyon sitting at 1-1 on the year. They are led by head coach Dustin Salmon in his first season at the helm of the Lady Scots, or the Scots rather. And we are pulling up our, that's men's volleyball. Trying to find women's volleyball. There it is. And Crowley's Ridge versus Lyon. We will have our starting lineups. We will introduce. First will be Stephanie Tucker. Stephanie Tucker is a 5'2" sophomore from Judsonia, Arkansas. And if I can pull her over to see some of her totals of the year, Tucker has 7 digs from the back row. Also getting the nod is going to be 11, Caitlin Jackson, a 5'6" junior from Jonesboro, last playing at Westside. She has 3 kills, 17 digs. Also coming up for head coach Salmon's Scots will be Madison James, 6'2" freshman from Fayetteville, Arkansas. 8 kills, 6 blocks. And after her will be, we said Madison James, then it is Lavia Tagmeyer, a 6' even sophomore out of Wynne, Arkansas, getting her first playing time of the season. And Allie Edwards, a 6'1" sophomore, also getting her first playing time of the season. A lot of Batesville natives, a lot of hometown heroes for the Scots. Over on the other side, for Crowley's Ridge, the Lady Pioneers will send up the senior, Hannah Powell, a 5'1" senior, 1 kill, 131 digs, has the former Lady Mohawk of Piggott High School. Brooklyn Passmore is a 5'8" freshman from Floral, Arkansas. She has 26 kills on her credit. Caitlin Stebleton is a 5'7" senior with 14 kills out of Crosby, Texas. Number 4, we've already mentioned Olivia Deckelman. She leads the team with 128 kills, has the 5'11" junior from Harrisburg, Arkansas. Hannah Halverson is a 5'8" freshman from here in Paragould across town at Greene County Tech. Sarah Grace Duncan, a 5'10" sophomore out of Milan High School in Milan, Tennessee. And then Emmy Elms is the 5'11" freshman. She has 128 kills, tied for the team lead with Olivia Deckelman. She also leads the team with 30 blocks, the former CRA Crowley's Ridge Academy Falcon, as Caitlin Perkins will prepare to enter as the libero. Wearing the opposite color jersey for the Scots is going to be Adia Sherbian, is a 5'7" junior from Torrington, Wyoming, and so Sherbian will be the libero today for Lyon College. And as always, it's Caitlin Perkins doing the work for Crowley's Ridge. So on the court for Crowley's Ridge, Kate Stebleton, as Sarah Grace Duncan will be the one replaced by KP, as she is known. Caitlin Perkins, Brooklyn Passmore, Caitlin Stebleton, Emmy Elms, Olivia Deckelman, and Hannah Halverson. For Lyon College, again, it's Stephanie Tucker, Caitlin Jackson, Madison James, Lavia Tagmeyer, and Allie Edwards. First serve on the way from Caitlin Perkins. That's going to be taken up by Jackson, poked across by Edwards, taken by Perkins. Perkins going to bump it to the right side to Deckelman. Deckelman floats it over. Here's the set from Jackson. Jackson going over to Edwards, who takes something off of it. Edwards with another attack. That goes back to Halverson. Halverson to Brooklyn Passmore. And Passmore is going to send it across off the hand of the diving Tucker. And Crowley's Ridge will get the first point of the contest.
That was a great job by Brooklyn Passmore. She sent it to the back corner of the court, which is always hard to get to as a passer, and that's an easy way to get a point.
So Crowley's Ridge starts with the serve and the point. Kate Stebleton's going to quick set to Emmy Elms, and we're going to have a net violation whistled on Lyon College. So Crowley's Ridge will pick up 2 quick points to start this contest. Crowley's Ridge in the NAIA over the last few years have lost all 9 games between the two teams. Matches, should I say. It always gets confusing with matches and sets and games. And
yeah, some of the words are interchangeable, so it's hard to keep up with.
so Caitlin Perkins will serve it across. Now going over to James. That was Irby, rather. Perkins is going to float it across. Taken up. Here's a set from Jackson. And then poked across by Tagmeyer. And Tagmeyer will get the first point for Lyon College.
That's a really good spot to send it, to tip it right behind the block. There's typically a hole there where people aren't as ready to get ready on defense. And so that's a quick way to get a point if you're really good at getting the tip. Good, heavy swing. It's good to get that ball back right away once you lose the serve. You want to go ahead and get it back, get a kill, and move on from a rotation so you don't get stuck. Good dive. See, that was just a typical miscommunication. Sometimes with quick sets, the setter will think you're doing one thing and the hitter will think you're doing another. And sometimes there's a miscommunication and it's so fast that you don't have time to fix it, and you just lose the point from that.
So we apologize for those watching over the internet. We're making sure our scoreboard gets up and stays corrected. It may be a little slow. It's not our usual broadcasting computer. If you've been tuning into basketball, you know our normal broadcasting computer is feeling ill right now. And so we're having to use a backup, and so we're trying to keep you the best broadcast we can, so we'll try and keep the score. But as it stands, Crowley's Ridge leads 6-1. Deckelman lefties it across the net. Here's an attack. Good job by Kate Stebleton to keep it in play. Deckelman's going to free it over. Here comes a set from Jackson, and taking something off. That was Hobson. Now an attack with the left hand by Irby. Kate Stebleton's going to set across the net to Passmore. Passmore pokes it over. Crowley's Ridge 7-1 to start the set. And that's going to be enough for head coach Dustin Salmon. Dustin Salmon looks as his Lady Scots are now trailing 7-1. We're going to take a timeout. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball. I'm so used to saying basketball. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. 1, okay, cool guy. 2, 3 times. Next, oh, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep, meep. Then I take it up and down, up and down. And that, kiddos, is called the forklift.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now that's dancing. Sure beats flossing.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Brooklyn Passmore. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on Pioneer Digital Network.
Brooklyn Passmore leads her team with 2 kills early going. Crowley's Ridge jumping out to a 7-1 lead. Olivia Deckelman buries it across. Sherbian gets it. The attack by Irby goes back. Deckelman keeps it in play. Here's Passmore again. Shot goes up. This is taken by Sherbian. Back to Irby, and Irby will split the defenders, and she'll get that between Deckelman and Halverson and get the point out of the timeout. How important is that point after the timeout?
Very important. You want to keep your momentum. You want to keep pushing, and if you can, a lot of teams will take timeouts to ice the other team and make them force an error, and if you can keep the point, it stays looking really good for your team, and you can keep pushing forward.
Here is Emmy Elms will punch it across. Here's a set coming from Jackson, an attack across the net by Hobson. And that will just find its way inside the line. And that is a point for the Scots. Stebleton's going to take the set over to Perkins to Elms. Elms fires, but a little too far to the right. And that is out. And so out of that timeout, Lyon College with 2 quick points. 3 quick points, rather. Tagmeyer airs it across. Halverson takes it. The set by Stebleton going back to Deckelman. Deckelman across. Here's Hagewood. Taken by Halverson. To Passmore. Passmore floats it over. It's tipped at the net. Hagewood will bump it back to Hobson. Taken by Halverson. Going to Passmore. Passmore barely scoops it up back over the net. The set and a double push there from Madison James. And that's not really what you expect from the 6'2" freshman to just kind of push it over the net.
That's how you get points. You have to, if you're swinging and they're getting a pass up, you have to switch it up. You have to tip it. You have to push it to those deep corners because they're not as prepared for that as they would be a swing.
Set going over to Jackson. The attack coming from Hobson. And Hobson just demolishes it.
Crowley Ridge #1, Hannah Powell.
So Hannah Powell, the senior from Piggott, Arkansas. I know a little bit about Piggott, considering I live and work in Piggott. As Lyon College has pulled within 2, it's 8-6. Here's a set from Jackson going to James. James plows it down.
Scots, field number 13, Madison James.
And Madison James just hurled that, and ain't much you can do about that.
Now serve for Lyon.
Yeah, when a hitter gets up there like that, especially a tall hitter, you have to have your feet set and you just have to be where you are. And if it comes to you, it comes to you. You have to just have your feet set.
Kendra Davidson having the serve. Here's Halverson. Halverson goes to the backside to Hagewood. Pass going over and finding Hobson. Deckelman sends it over. It's tipped at the net. Scots keep it in play. Bumped right up at the top of the net. Trying to punch it over is Maggie Hobson, but she was unable to. The Oxford, Mississippi native, last playing at Tennessee Wesleyan, so she's been all around the South. Went to high school in Oxford, then started college in Tennessee, and now finds herself in Arkansas. As the attack across the way, going to Emmy Elms, and Elms just gets it off the tip of the net. Great dive coming from Kendra Davidson to keep it in play. Davidson's going to set behind her to Beasley. Emmy Elms will get it from Stebleton. She's going to put way too much mustard on it, and it's out of play by about 5 feet. So it is now 9-8.
Now serve for Lyon number 7, Stephanie Tucker.
Going up, crossing the way now, and that ball is going to be out by Lyon.
Now serving number 3, Caitlin Simpleton.
And underneath the dive there from Isabella Beasley, a good attempt. However, it went under the net, and in volleyball, I believe the rule is it needs to go over the net, at least in my limited knowledge of the sport. So it is 11-8, going to Tucker, crossing the way, finding Edwards. Stebleton has the reception, the pass to Deckelman from Perkins. Here's an attack coming from Davidson. Davidson finding Edwards, and that attack is off.
Ball out off top. Point Scott.
One thing I'd like to see from both teams is just for them to settle down in it a little bit, to calm down. Sometimes when you get nervous or start games, it's kind of all over the place. And if you can just get a solid pass, a solid set, and get back in system, it's much easier to get points than to frantically try to pass up a ball.
Edwards will smash it down, taken by Stebleton. Here's Perkins. She will send it across. And a big attack attempt from Tagmeyer. Going back to Beasley, and Beasley is going to get it off the fingertips of Caitlin Perkins. And the Lyon College Scots back within 1. It is 11-10. And Adia Sherbian will serve it just grazing the tip of the net. Here's Halverson. She's going to poke it straight up in the air. It does make it over, but a good dive there from the Scots. Here's Deckelman. Here's an attack from Hobson, and Hobson just finds it where the Lady Pioneers are not. And it is all tied up once again, 11-11 now. First time since the opener we have been tied. Crowley's Ridge jumped out to a 7-1 advantage, and Lyon College has jumped on it since then. Good block there coming from, that is Beasley and Hobson. No, that's James. I was right the first time. That is a point for Crowley's Ridge as that goes into the net.
Now serving number 6, Hannah Halverson.
So now 12-11, Crowley's Ridge leading. Hannah Halverson will serve for the Lady Nears. Skies it up. Taken over, and that will be for touch.
Good serve.
Coming over from Stephanie Tucker. Now to Olivia Deckelman. Deckelman saw a hole, but the Scots were able to close it just in time. Stebbleton will set to Passmore. Passmore and finds it right off the edge, and that is a kill for Brooklyn Passmore. She leads the team with 3.
Again, she hit that same vulnerable spot, like that spot down the line where the defender isn't. And if you keep hitting that zone until they move, you can keep getting points.
Point Scots.
And that point's going to go by way of the Lyon College Scots. So Crowley's Ridge will take 2 steps forward, and then Lyon will take another step. So Crowley's Ridge not able to put some distance, but Lyon College, perennial powerhouses out of the American Midwest Conference. Service up from Jackson. Goes to Stebbleton and poked quickly over by Olivia Deckelman. Good idea, but bad execution as it just falls out of bounds.
Lyon is definitely a team that you don't want to let pull ahead and gain that momentum. Once they get going, they're pretty hard to stop. So you want to keep ahead of them, keep them from gaining points, and go ahead and get the ball back on your side.
Stebbleton will set Sarah Grace Duncan, and a quick block by the Scots puts it right back into the hands of the Pioneers. However, Brooklyn Passmore mistimes her jump, and that falls harmlessly into the net, and so the Scots tie us up once more, 14-14. Passmore rocked and fired on that. It's taken by the Scots. Edwards blocked right back by Sarah Grace Duncan. Taken over. Stebbleton gets the dig to Deckelman, and Deckelman mistimes her jump. That goes off the edge of her hand and unable to cross the net. And with that, Lyon College takes their first lead of the game, and that's going to cause Coach Wynn to take her first time out of the game. So first to 15 is Lyon College, and they take their lead for the first time in this game. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's STEM tip. Want to know how to make your selfies even better? Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets, when the atmosphere scatters blue and violet wavelengths, making perfect, soft, and golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours. Click. Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Emmy Elms. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
And we welcome you back to the Carter Activity Center. I'm Dustin Seymour, joined by Mrs. Olivia Seymour. The Lyon College Scots are the first of 15 in the opening set. That is their first lead of the game. It has been rather chilly here. However, it's currently sitting at 44 degrees. Believe it or not, less than 2 days ago, we were in single digits here in northeast Arkansas. That snow's melting and melting quick. Here's Passmore, and that's tipped at the net coming from Irby. Here's an attack coming from James. Passmore goes over to Halverson, and Halverson was upset with herself, thinking that she had a bad attack and was facing the back wall in frustration, and the Scots took advantage of that and hit it right to where her back was turned.
That's where discipline comes in. If you make a mistake, the best thing you can do is shrug it off and say, next ball, because it could come right back in your face and you not be ready.
Sarah Grace Duncan is rejected. Here's Passmore. Takes something off. That's going dug out by Jackson. Here's an attack from Irby, and Irby's going to attack it into the net. Crowley's Ridge will take the point. 16-15. Caitlin Perkins makes her way to the service line, and she skies it over to her counterpart, libero, Sherbian. Here's Passmore, taken by Sherbian. Set by Jackson, finding Edwards. Skying up, Stebbleton sets Deckelman. Deckelman off the heel of the hand. Set by Edwards. Goes to Sherbian, and Sherbian to Elms. Elms skied it back. And Halverson keeping it in the play is Elms and Deckelman. Here's an attack and out of play. Good play there from both squads. but just out of the reach of the Lyon College Scots. That is Tagmeyer, and we're all knotted up at 16 each. And that will make it 17-16 after a little misfire.
This is when you have to push ahead and get as many points as you can.
And checking to see if it's in. The referee was looking at the line judge. Line judge, as usual in these small college games, line judges are fellow students. And a little sheepish sometimes, but our line judge indicated that that was in play, so a service ace for Caitlin Perkins. This is taken by Jackson over to Tagmeyer. Set to Deckelman. And we will have a whistle in the net. And again, a net violation by Lyon College. So the 109-day break paying off for Crowley's Ridge in the early going. 19-16 leading Lyon College. Perkins airmails it. Taken by Jackson. Jackson sets Irby. Stebleton will set to Passmore, and we'll have a double contact call.
Double contact. Point Scott.
You got to imagine it's difficult. Several of these players, Piper Farmer, Heather Conaway, Hannah Powell, and Caitlin Stebleton, all playing double duty right now as it is softball season. Normally, you have your fall season and then you have your spring season, but because of COVID-19, we have players having double duty. Emmy Elms with a tool there to get it off the block of Lyon College. Did I get that right?
You sure did.
We were watching volleyball the other day getting prepared for this, and that is a tool, correct?
It sure is.
See, I listen to my spouse sometimes, all the time. Deckelman with the service. That goes over, and it will find Hobson, and Hobson will put too much on it. It's out of play. Crowley's Ridge holds a 21-17 lead. And the final points of the opening set, Crowley's Ridge needing to push 4 points. Olivia Deckelman, wearing number 4, has the service and getting off balance. Great save there by the Pioneers, and here's an attack from Tagmeyer. Stebleton goes up to Passmore. Passmore smacks it into the hands of the Lions, Lyon going across to Hobson. Passmore will attempt again, and she'll get that out of play. So great plays on both sides of the net.
Now serving number 7.
That's why you shouldn't give up on any ball. If you can dive, if you can throw a hand out, if you can do anything, you can still get that ball up.
I'm sure play to the whistle is a phrase that every coach of every sport can play or can say. And there is Stebleton that
looked on the floor
had
to
a
me.
dump, and it looked like it was on the floor, and everybody in the gym thought it was on the floor. But it is all for naught as the ensuing attack falls on the side of Lyon College. So looked like it was a point for Crowley's Ridge off of the dump by Stebleton, but all for naught as Crowley's Ridge still manages to get the point. And out of play, and that was a good, on that play, it was a good job by Caitlin Stebleton. Instead of trying to plead her case as the ball is live, she was rallying her troops saying, okay, don't worry, we're just going to keep fighting for it, and it paid off, getting the point. 23-18, Hannah Powell behind the line to serve. She'll sky it across, that's taken by Hobson, and Hobson comes flying in, that's going to spin around on the top of the net, and this one comes right off the top of the net, and a great job there by the 6'2" Madison James. Usually around 6 foot is kind of the cap for most NAIA schools, but now you got a freshman that's 6'2".
You always want those tall girls, especially when they're young. You're like, okay, we get to have you for 4 years. You're going to grow up in our program, and some girls get even taller. You never know.
As Hobson led the team with 6 blocks coming into the day. Set going over to find James, and James rocks, James fires, and it's now 23-20. Serving will be Kendra Davidson. Set by Stebleton. We'll go and find Elms, tipped at the net. Serve going over to Hobson. Dug out by Powell. Halverson attacks. Set goes over to Hobson. Halverson digs. Getting it over to Stebleton. Pushing it over to Caitlin Perkins. Stebleton's going to back set to Elms. Elms rocks and fires. Bad luck ball as the ball was just spinning down the net. And Caitlin Stebleton, Hannah Halverson was able to roll it back into play. However, it was right into the hands of Isabella Beasley, who's going to force Coach Wynn to take her second timeout of the set as Crowley's Ridge clings to a 2-point lead and needing 2 more. 23-21, Crowley's Ridge leads in the opening set. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You love them enough to sit through their favorite boy band with them. Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Caitlin Perkins, and you're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
The Spinners working our way back to you here at the Ridge as the Pioneers will have Halverson spike that across the net, but that is dug up by Kendra Davidson. Davidson's going to go down. Great job by Powell and Stebleton to keep it in play. Here's the set from Sherbian. A punch over. Right back over the net is Halverson. And we'll have a whistle, and Lyon College whistled in the net. Crowley's Ridge, set point. As Elms with set point sends it across. This is taken by Hobson of the Scots. Going over to Elms, taken by Sherbian. The attempt from James and a sliding Emmy Elms, but she is unable to grasp it. So it is 24-22. It remains set point in favor of the ladies in green. Emmy Elms checks out. With the ball is going to be Stephanie Tucker, a 5'2" sophomore out of Judsonia, Arkansas. She sends it over, and that is out of play. And that's going to do it for the first 25. Crowley's Ridge College will start their first game back after 109 days with a fixed set victory, taking it 25-22. We're going to take a timeout and then get you set for the second set. Crowley's Ridge leading 1-0. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Grayson Taylor, and I'm the campus minister at the Ridge Connection, which is the campus ministry on the campus of Crowley's Ridge College. College is a time that is possibly the most formative time in any person's life. It's where you find out who you might marry, figure out what you want to do with your life, and you figure out if your faith is legitimate, or you figure out if you believe in God at all. At the Ridge Connection, we want to help you find an authentic community of believers that is both encouraging and uplifting to you during your time in college. We hope that as you become more involved in our campus ministry, that you actually leave campus more like Jesus than you were when you walked in. We want to help you connect to God, connect to other people, and of course, connect on the campus of CRC. So follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Ridge Connection. You can find us on Instagram at The Ridge Connect. We are so excited to see what God does through The Ridge Connection on the campus of Crowley's Ridge College.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This is Hannah Jean Halverson. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Lady Pioneers take a 25-22 set win. And the first set of today's contest. Let me try and grab a pen so I can remember that, because goodness knows my memory won't last that long. So, Olivia, what did you see in that first set that impressed you for the Lady Pioneers?
I like how they were able to not let the Scots of Lyon get too far ahead. When they did get a lead, they didn't let them run away with it, which has been a problem in the past. Sometimes it's easy to let people get the momentum and keep going. And the Lady Pioneers only let them get a few points, and then they came back and pushed. I'm liking what the block looks like for the most part, especially on the right side. They're getting a lot of touches. And as long as they keep up this on their feet and working hard, they can get this win. If they clean it up, it'll be even easier than that.
So what'd you see from Lyon that impressed you?
They're smart with their placement. They see a weak spot and they exploit it until you fix it, and that's very smart. That's what you're supposed to do. Their setter moves the ball. If they get pushed to one side, they set it back and things like that. So you shouldn't count them out yet.
Kaylin Jackson with service for the Scots. Here's the set to Emmy Elms. Emmy rocks and fires. Taken by the Scots. Here's a huge attack blocked at the net. The net is shaking from the ball movement.
Good spot.
Here's taken by Edwards. The set coming from Jackson. Good dig out there by Halverson. Here's Passmore. Passmore finds a hole. Brooklyn Passmore gets the kill. That is her 4th of the evening. Her career high is 6. Olivia Deckelman will toe the line to serve with her left hand going across. Here's the set from Jackson. Taking something off of it is Hobson to Passmore. Passmore tried the same tactic to take something off of it, but she took too much off of it as it didn't even cross the net.
Now serving number 24, Maggie Hobson.
Maggie Hobson serving. In their 2 games, she leads the nation in kills per game. She averages 6 kills over their 2 games. Huge smack by Emmy Elms.
And what was that, Dustin?
That is a tool right off of the hands of Maria Elena Bampiri. Into the game for the first time is the Grecian, coming from originally from Portarafti, Greece. Set from Jackson, going to find Bampiri. Back over to Deckelman. Set from Serbian. And Deckelman, a lot of punching going on, trying to get the ball to where it needs to be. Here's the set. Going over to Edwards, and Lady Pioneers, 3 will campfire it. As 3 Lady Pioneers all dive with their hands outstretched. Finds right in between them.
I would like a little more communication from the Lady Pioneers. Those balls that we're losing between players or right in the middle, it's all because people aren't taking charge and going for it. And if someone speaks up early, we can get those balls up.
And luck of the draw there from Maria Elena Vampiri as she served it right into the top of the net. It made its way across and pretty much rolled down. Good try by Emmy Elms to keep it in play, but it just rolled out. Halverson smacks it, but it's out of play. So Lyon College jumping ahead to a 4-2 lead. The Vampiri serving again. Going to the attack by Irby. And that's going to go off the hand of Emmy Elms and Hannah Halverson having a bit of miscommunication.
This is when the Lady Pioneers need to pick themselves up and fight and get this point back. If you get down on yourself, if you start standing in your position, if you're not ready, this is when they'll pull away and get the set from you.
There's Halverson, gets it across the net, and that goes out of play off the arm of Powell. Well, Emmy Elms and Hannah Halverson, both Paragould natives and rivals, have been rivals the past 4 years, one at CRA, one at Greene County Tech. Does that make a difference at all in trying to get that teamwork?
Sometimes. It depends on how severe the rivalry is, and sometimes there's rivalries between individual girls. But for the most part, once you're on the same team and you realize, oh, this person can help us, oh, this is a good person to work with, then it's really easy, and you're happy to have them on your side instead of fighting against them.
Stebleton will set to Halverson. Halverson smacks it over, taken by Sherbian. Quick pushover. Push by Edwards, made it over to Powell, and Powell was unable to get some air underneath it, and so it falls harmlessly to the Timbers. And it is now a 7-3 lead for the guests from Lyon College, wearing navy blue uniforms with a white stripe down the sleeves, white numerals. Crowley's Ridge wearing their green on blacks, green jerseys, white numerals with black shorts. Serving is Tagmeyer. And she'll float that right down to the 10-foot line.
That's a miscommunication. That's a lack of desire, if you want to say it like that. You have to be ready to get that. You have to want that ball, and you can't just stand and watch it fall.
So Tagmeyer, after the service ace, will send it over again. Halverson takes it. Here's Sarah Grace Duncan. Good job there from Davidson, keeping it in play. Sarah Grace Duncan puts it back over the net. The set going to Deckelman, and Deckelman smashes it home. Lady Pioneers cutting into the lead by the Lyon Scots. It is now 8-4. Caitlin Stebleton steps to the line. Set coming. Stebleton sends it over to Halverson. Halverson taken by Sherbian over the net, and that's going to be, I believe, for contact. No. Referees indicating that was for that didn't get over the net. And the referees conferring. One was putting his hand to the left side. Couldn't remember who it was that had the for contact. The up ref was starting to point towards Lyon, and the down ref pointed towards Crowley's Ridge, and they both eventually agreed that it was going towards Crowley's Ridge. And after the for contact, CRC gets another kill, and that makes it 8-6. Stebleton still at the line on a 3-0 run. Goes over to Edwards. At the net is Stebleton. She pushes it over the net. Back set, and a huge kill there from James. Madison James had 8 kills coming into the contest. She already has 7.
With this rotation for the Scots, right now it looks like their setter is front row. And so that means that only 2 hitters are on the front, and so they can move around and shift. And so you have to be aware of where they're going if they're running slides like that, because you could think, oh, the setter's over there, no one's swinging, and then they'll burn you.
We did mention when we were prepping before this that there are 2 players that have seemingly opposite positions. That we have 2 different players are outside hitters and defensive specialists. That's kind of a rarity, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Typically, those players are on the shorter side for hitters. They're not like short in general, but they're like 5'7", 5'8", which is shorter for front row hitters. And it just means that they have specialties, and you can put them wherever you need them on the court. If you need them to play defense, you can, or if you want to work with your setters and open up a position, you can have them as hitters as well.
What height range did you say that those needed to be around?
They're typically 5'7", 5'8".
Guess the height of both outside hitter defensive specialists on the Lion team. 5'7".
There you go.
Both of them, 5'7". That is Morgan Maxwell from Perrin, Arkansas, and Maggie Hobson from Oxford, Mississippi. Crowley's Ridge within 3. Set going back to James. And in the net are the Lady Pioneers. This whistled on Passmore. So Lyon College, as Coach Wynn enjoyed the first set that she saw, and the second set a little sloppier than that opener. Trying to will her team to clean up, tighten the screws. As Sherbian mails it over the net. Here's Passmore with a big smack. The set to Hobson. Hobson will get it off of the hands of Olivia Deckelman, and the tool works in the favor of the Scots and is now 12-7 in favor of the blue and white. Sherbian. Here is Deckelman, Duncan. Set going back to Tagmeyer. Taken Passmore. A quick trying to keep it in play is Hannah Halverson. Great job there from the freshman. And here is a flying attack from Hobson. Brooklyn Passmore sends it across the net. Missed pass by Stephanie Tucker, and Crowley's Ridge will take the point.
It's hard when that ball gets behind you when you're trying to work with it, but it's behind your head. You always have to adjust your body position, because otherwise it'll happen like it did to them, where you just can't orient yourself enough to get the play.
Caitlin Perkins served. Here's Deckelman, and Deckelman mistimed her jump, and that falls harmlessly to the floor. So it is now 13-8.
That's one thing to be careful of, is when you do get the ball back, you want to take advantage of it. You want to widen the gap. You want to take the lead back. And it's hard when you get the lead and then you lose it again, because then you're giving the other team momentum as well.
Jackson sends it over. Here's Stebleton. Stebleton to Elms. Set coming from Jackson. Huge attack there coming from Hobson. And Hobson gets the kill.
One thing that they've been doing the last few times on that outside is they're just muscling through the block. The block is there, they're ready, but they're not pressing hard enough into the net to where if the hitter, swings with enough power, they can push through the block and get the tool even if you're in position to take it.
Anna Halverson will attack it into the net, and Coach Wynn wants to think things over. first to 15 is Lyon College, and it is 15-8 in favor of the guests from Batesville. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
Or your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
My mother was very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
And we welcome you back to the Carter Activity Center. The Lyon Scots are without their former head coach, Ray Green. Ray Green was the head coach of the Scots for the last 12 seasons. So Dustin Salmon stepping into a big role after Ray Green has left. Green posted won 180 matches, including a 20-win season. And so Dustin Salmon stepping in, and so a new coach, new team, and new regulations, honestly, with pretty much new everything thanks to the coronavirus. And the Pioneers now getting that point off of the 4 contact. It is 15-10. Set by Jackson, goes across. That finds the lefty Irby. Stebleton sets it back into play. Over by Perkins, and Perkins is going to watch it go out of bounds. So great job by Perkins to push to the other side of the net and then watch it go out of bounds. Deckelman fires it across the net in service. And another huge attack by Hobson, and she knew it. She just caught it.
Did she think she hit it in the net, and that's why she caught it?
It hit it in the net, and it was going right back to her, and so she was either going to get she was going to get a double contact either way. So might as well just catch it.
In the net, yeah.
Might as well just catch it and look cool doing it, and it worked. But then on the other side, Jackson tried to slide in, but the ball died at the net. Crowley's Ridge now down 2, 15-13 coming out of the timeout. And Deckelman with a service error. Crowley's Ridge over the seasons have had 69 service errors. That's one of the points of improvement the Lady Buccaneers have needed. Emmy Elms rocks and fires. Stebleton sets Elms. Elms pokes it over. Here is Irby. Taken. Alverson to Passmore. Passmore finds the left corner. And that is a Pioneer point. Crowley's Ridge within 2 once again, 16-14.
Now set for Crowley's Ridge number 1, Hannah Powell.
Hannah Powell, the senior, will serve across. It is 14 serving 16. Irby gets it across the net. Dug out by Perkins. Here's Deckelman. Deckelman tried to jump and didn't get much air on her jump. Tried to muscle it over, and it just goes to the top of the tape. 17-14.
Yeah, it looks like Deckelman is back row right now, and when you're set kind of on the 10-foot line, you can't really approach forward and get the momentum, so you just have to jump in place and hope you get enough gusto behind it.
Halverson gets it across. That goes off the fingertip. Great dive there from Vampiri to keep it in play. That was definitely a Crowley's Ridge point, but Vampiri came flying in from Greece, keeping it in play. Set goes over. Here is Vampiri once more. She'll set Irby to Stebleton. Perkins finding Deckelman. Deckelman flies it across, goes to Hobson. Set going back to Hobson. Dug out by Powell. Here's Halverson's attempt. She'll punch it across the net. Jackson will set to her left side to Edwards, but it goes into the net. A nice volley there from both sides, and it goes in favor of the Lady Pioneers of Crowley's Ridge. Emmy Elms will now go to the line. 15 serving 17. Elms grazes the top of the net. Jackson will set James, and James smashes it down with some authority. And it is now 18-15.
That's one of those, if there's a hole on the net, if your block isn't fully there and they take advantage of it, it's just going straight down in between you.
Scots finally get a side out. It seemed like the Lady Pioneers were serving for a while there. Service from the Scots. That goes off the net, but that's going to be taken by Perkins. Sherbian to the right side of James. Sent right back by Hannah Jean Halverson.
That's a great momentum builder. Blocks are always exciting. They're always fun. And when you stuff someone back like that, it's easy to get that energy you needed.
18-16, Lyon in the lead here in the second set, and that is in play. Caitlin Stebleton thought that was going out of play. How difficult is that in the split second to try and make the decision? Is it in play for me to hit or is it out of play for me to watch?
You really just have to commit to a decision, but the typical rule of thumb is put your foot on the line. If your foot is on the line, it will hit you before it goes out, and it's way easier to read than if you just turn and look at it. Typically, if you just turn, you're probably going to misjudge it.
Set coming from Davidson. And that is tooled off of the hand of Olivia Deckelman. Scott's now the first 220. Tight match all through. The first set was decided by just 3. And this second set looks to be a close one as well. And a great job there from Halverson to get the kill there. And Hobson unhappy with her teammates as she just kind of spins around and shrugs her shoulders. Where were you?
As a blocker, when you get the touch and it falls directly behind you, you're hoping that your teammate is right there to get it. And sometimes they're not, and sometimes they're thinking you should turn around and get it, and there's just not enough time to decide.
And Hannah Halverson gets a service ace. That is Halverson's 10th ace of the season. And it is a 2-point game once more. Sending it across is James. Perkins sets Passmore, and Passmore is going to spike it into the net. So Crowley's Ridge, after the break in the season, the second half of their season, this is their only home game. They will visit Williams Baptist on March 4th and then rematch in Batesville against the same Lyon team before having back-to-back weekends of AII play, a couple of try matches. Crowley's Ridge gets the point there. They'll travel to Lincoln, Illinois to play College of the Ozarks, Cotty, and Lincoln the weekend of the 12th and 13th of March. And then a few days later, we'll travel to Point Lookout to play the same 3 teams to prepare for the AII Conference Tournament. And that will be April 9th and 10th as Hobson will spike it into the net. Crowley's Ridge within 1. 21-20. Crowley's Ridge trailing rather. Lyon College. Caitlin Perkins knuckles it across. And a humongous attack from Maria Elena Vampiri. And that'll take the wind out of the sails of the Lady Nears.
It's true. That'll knock it out of you real quick. But as a middle blocker, if you're solo blocking, you have to choose a side to take away from them. And she turned it away from her dominant side and was able to get that hole.
Jackson serves. Perkins digs it out. Set across to Elms, and Elms a little too much on it, and it goes out of bounds. Scott's 2 points away from taking set 2, but Crowley's Ridge only 3 points behind the Scots. So Jackson will go to the line once more in service, and she won't make it cross the net. Back within 2 are the green and the black.
Now is when you push. You don't want them to get that point and get the game within 1.
Olivia Deckelman puts it into second gear. Back to Vampiri. Vampiri's got a cannon on her.
She went back, if you'll notice, she went back to the same zone that she just hit in and got a kill. As a blocker, if you notice the repetition, you have to take a step over to the other side and take that away from her, and then it'll be up to her to readjust.
Lyon College with set point. The attack from Elms, and Elms smacks it across. Couple of fastballers from Vampiri and Elms. Crowley's Ridge will stay alive in the second set. It remains set point, so it will be on Hannah Powell to push points as it is 22 serving 24. Powell fires it over. That's taken. Here is behind, trying to go to Vampiri. Vampiri tried to kick it over. So it is a point, and so Hannah Powell 1 point away from tying us up at 24.
That's just a miscommunication from the Scots. It's in a weird zone where when the front row is back, that it's in between players, and she ducked thinking the girl was behind her, and the girl thought she was going to take it.
And that is out of play, and Crowley's Ridge has fought back. We're going to extra points as it is tied 24-24. Reminder, it takes 2 points to win the set, so we will go past 25. Hannah Powell continuing to serve. That is an overpass, and an overpass is the best set as Emmy Elms took advantage.
That's why you always have to be ready. If you are on the net, you have to be ready to block or hit at any given time. And she was, and she got the point for us.
Trying to get a ball back to Hannah Powell. She's like, hey, I'm on a roll here. Crowley's Ridge, a 3-0 run, and now has set point themselves. Here's Hannah Powell. Powell goes and finds Edwards. The set goes back to Irby. Stebleton to Halverson. Halverson goes over, not quite on the floor. Jackson takes it, goes over to Edwards. Set by Stebleton. Stebleton to Elms. Elms takes something off of it. That goes to Edwards, sent over by Hobson. Stebleton sets Elms. Elms rocks and fires, stays in play, and then Elms just kind of, Dr. J hooks it over the net. Hobson in the net, taken by Stebleton. Great job there from Kate Stebleton. Here's Elms again. Goes off of the arms of Sherbian, but it stays in play. The Lady Pioneers have had several chances here in this rally. Stebleton over to Halverson. Vampiri goes back to Edwards, and Edwards is going to hit it out, and Crowley's Ridge will take the point and take the set on the comeback. They trailed nearly the entire set, but took the lead at 25-24 and has taken set number 2, 26-24. Crowley's Ridge College takes a 2-0 lead going into the third set, and we'll try and get 25 points and get a victory here. But you played a 5, and Crowley's Ridge had taken the last time Crowley's Ridge played was against Williams Baptist, and in a similar situation. They took the first 2 sets, and then the Lady Eagles came back and took the last 3. So the Lady Neers cannot rest on their laurels. So we will take a timeout. If you are tuning in as a Lady Pioneer fan or Crowley's Ridge fan, you might notice it will be a rather busy weekend here as Crowley's Ridge has been honored with the chance to host the AII basketball tournaments this weekend. 4 games will be played on Friday, and then 2 games on Saturday. It's a single elimination. Crowley's Ridge, the men get the top seed. The women have the number 2 seed. The women will take on Lincoln Christian, and the men will play College of the Ozarks, but more on that coming later. We're going to set number 3 of Lady Pioneer Volleyball against Lyon College Scots. The Lyon College fans are the ones tuning in the most. We've got 3 fans, particularly Lane Smith from Cabot, Arkansas, cheering on his Lyon Scott, number 27, cheering on Lane Smith. But we are about a minute left in this small intermission to get set for set number 3. We're going to take a timeout. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Hannah Powell. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
So Hannah Powell came in to serve with the Lady Pioneers trailing 22-24. It was set point for Lyon College, and that's a veteran player stepping into a tight spot.
It's definitely a tight spot to be in. It's very tough. You have to be strong mentally to go into a position like that. It's easy to get nervous and miscalculate your serve and just give them the whole set with that missed serve. But she came in, she was consistent. She had good, strong serve. She didn't give up quality to be able to get it in. She kept it strong. She kept pushing. She moved it to the player she needed to move it to, and it's because of her that the Lady Pioneers were able to come back and win that set.
So Crowley's Ridge will come out after 109 days and take the first 2 sets from a good American Midwest Conference team in Lyon College. Again, Crowley's Ridge will look for their first win over Lyon College in the NAIA era, currently sitting at a 0-9 head-to-head record. And Caitlin Perkins will do the honors to start off the 3rd set. Stebleton dove out to grab it. Here is Passmore. That's taken by Tucker. Passmore, Stebleton digs it out. Deckelman. Stebleton will set Passmore. Passmore finds the hole. That's dug up by Tucker. And here's a huge kill from Hobson. And Hobson celebrates her kill. Hobson up to 6 kills.
Now serving number 24, Maggie Hobson.
Crowley's Ridge is led by Emmy Elms and Brooklyn Passmore. Passmore tying her season high with 6 kills. Emmy Elms, with her 6 kills, has 10 more to go to match her season high. Quick tip by the Lyon Scots by the hand of Lavia Tagmeyer. She's listed at 6 foot even. She looks taller than that. And I'm sure the players said the exact same thing as they saw her push that over the net. So Maggie Hobson over the net. The back set, but that is out of play. Good. Oh, a net violation.
Oh, that's nice.
So Lyon College having a bit of trouble staying out of the net. They've had several net violations, and surprisingly, Crowley's Ridge has played a relatively clean game, especially considering the length of time between their last game.
Yeah, definitely on the net. You know, when you're trying really hard to press hard up there, you're trying to get into position, it's really easy to overpress and get all up in the net and lose points that way. But thankfully, they've been clean on their blocks. They've been up there and present, and they haven't cost them any points.
Tagmeyer will serve it. Here's Passmore. Passmore gets tipped at the net, taken by Jackson. Jackson goes back to Smith, who cocks and shoots, and Lane Smith, the 5'9" freshman from Alston, Arkansas, gets a huge kill. Tagmeyer will serve. Passmore will take the set. Over to Elms. Elms goes across the net, taken by Jackson. Pass going back to Smith. Stebleton will set Deckelman. Deckelman punches it over the net. Jackson finding James. That's going to go off the foot. Trying to keep it in play was Halverson. So it is now 5-1 in favor of the guests. Great dig there from Caitlin Perkins. And an attack there, huge attack attempt by James. James with 9 kills, but she will not get her 10th as that was in the net. And Crowley's Ridge will take any kind of side out they can get, as it is now 2 serving 5 in the early going of the 3rd set. As Hannah Powell will sky it and get right on that line. Hannah Powell will pick up, did a great job serving at the end of that 2nd set. Picks up her 8th service ace of the season. Her next one's on the way. That's taken by Tucker. There's an attack coming from James, and James does get her double-digit kill.
Again, that's why you run quick sets like that. That's why the middles go so fast, is to catch the block off guard, have them in the wrong position so there's a wide hole in the floor for you to be able to swing into.
Lane Smith serves. Emmy Elms keeps it in play, and Caitlin Stebleton pushes it over. Here's an attack from James, blocked by Hannah Halverson. Over is Tucker. Set to Elms, and Elms will push it over the net. And a dump there. Good job there from Elms to sweep it out. Set coming from Davidson. Now Stebleton to Halverson, and Halverson will hit it into the net.
Now serve for Lyon for 1,
Aaron
Aaron Haywood.
Hagewood, 5'6" sophomore out of Newport, Arkansas. 2 aces on this young season for the Scots. This only their 3rd game. And tipping it right back in is James. So it is now 8 serving 3.
At this point, you don't want to get down. You don't want to start being upset that they're ahead of you. When that happens, you stop moving your feet, you stop talking, and then it gets really confusing and hard to get back in your groove.
And Emmy Elms could not get it over the net. How difficult is it to say, oh, we've got at least two more games to quote-unquote give up? We got a 2-0 game lead. You can play to 5. Do teams ever just say, well, we'll let them have this one?
You never say that in your head, but sometimes your actions say that for you. Of course you want to win in 3 and you want to take it, but sometimes you're like, oh, we've got the lead. We won the first 2, and you get too comfortable, and then you quit doing the work that got you those wins in the first place.
Big blocks on either side. Has Halverson tip it over the net. That's taken by Jackson. Stepping up and getting the kill there is Hobson. Maggie Hobson up now with 7 kills. And making sure we had getting a rubber band or something off the floor. Going over is Hagewood. Stebleton crosses the net. Goes back to Hobson. Hobson fires, and that is in play. So Maggie Hobson makes it 11-3 in favor of the Scots. That goes across, taken by Powell.
Have you
Up to
noticed how
Deckelman.
quiet it is?
Mm-hmm.
On the floor, that's a thing that needs to be addressed.
Halverson rocks and fires. Will she find the spot? No, no. He says it is down. The down ref was indicating that it did get on the floor. A great job there from the Scots to try and pancake it and keep it in play.
That's why you commit and keep playing until the ref says something, because even if you know it didn't go down, sometimes you can still get the point.
Elms with the service. That goes Hobson on the fly. Finds Stebleton from her knees. Crossing the net. Here's the set over to Hobson. Hobson will be blocked at the net. And that's going to go out of play. Crowley's Ridge will drop that point. It's now 12-4. And back on that ball on the floor earlier, and sometimes in this COVID era with these referees are using the handheld whistle as opposed to the normal whistle. And I can usually hear the whistle from up here with my headset on, and I can imagine on the floor it's going to be difficult to hear.
Yeah, definitely the traditional whistles are much easier to play with than the electronic ones. The electronic ones tend to be quieter, surprisingly, and so sometimes you get caught still playing, or still thinking something's going on because the whistles sound different, and you have to adjust to it.
Maggie Hobson gets the kill, and it's now 13-4. Perkins sends it over the net. Here's dug up by Davidson. A huge attack, but it is off the antenna. That was good luck for the Pioneers, as that was a huge smack, but it grazed that antenna. And unlike in baseball, where if it touches the foul pole, it is indeed fair. In volleyball, if it touches that antenna, it is out.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the antenna is an extension of the outline of the lines around the court. So if it touches the antenna, it's as if it's touching that outline on the court. It counts as it being out of play. It's not fair anymore. That's why they're placed that way on the net right above the lines.
Which can be unfair because it could, balls can
Yeah.
balls can have English on it. You've seen in baseball of how it can be fair for a time and then rolls, or can be foul for a time and then rolls back fair.
If you really put a spin on it, you can curve a ball back into play. But sometimes it hits the antenna and it can't count that way. And if you pass the antenna and go on the other team's side of the court, and try to bring it back in the other way, that is also considered out, and you're not allowed to do that either.
Referees conferring with the scorebook and is now going over to talk to head coach Dustin Salmon. Trying to find out where a point was or a rotation is or something, and Salmon is going to go look at the scorebook.
Most likely, this kind of talk with the coach tends to be a rotation error. Sometimes a new girl comes in or a girl is out of place, or sometimes teams serve in the wrong order. You just get excited and get messed up. So that could possibly be what they're talking about, or they could be arguing about the previous play, but most likely they're talking about the order the girls are in.
Well, it shouldn't. I mean, the Scots have had the last 2 points.
And it's strange because, well, sometimes a girl can be serving for 4 points and then you realize, but that's pretty rare. But I didn't see anything that would indicate something like that, but there's no telling sometimes.
Well, it could be. There was a place where we were playing, and whoever was running the electronic scoreboard had swapped which team was which. Normally the teams do swap, but now every team's staying on the same side of the floor, but whoever was working the electronic scoreboard showed the wrong score, and,
yeah, he's telling them, the coach is telling them to rotate back 1 rotation. So there was some kind of thing where either they rotated too early, or they're having to reverse to redo a play. Sometimes that happens where you go ahead and sub, but then they give the other team a point. So you have to sub back in and rotate back a rotation.
That's where we're trying to see, is he going to call a replay, or is he going to give the point to Crowley's Ridge?
Because sometimes you forget you have the ball and you go ahead and rotate before you should, but they may be giving it back to Crowley's Ridge, and that way Lyon would have to reverse 1 rotation.
As the referee's conferring, the down ref seems to know, trying to talk to the up ref. Caitlin Stebleton working as the on-floor captain, trying to figure out what the delay is. If they were out of rotation, wouldn't that be a point?
Yes, it would be a point. Sometimes they try to just give the ball to the other team, but typically you're supposed to get a point as well.
Well, as I'm looking at the scoreboard, our electronic scoreboard shows 14-5. And as I'm looking on our DAC stats, which has the last thing being Stebleton's service error, showing that it's 13-5. So the Erica down keeping that's Jordan keeping the score. Coach Malone could just not have entered the play to figure out what's going on. We wish you could tell you what's happening, but something's happening. That's what volleyball is. You get a lot of these conversations in volleyball.
Yeah, it depends on the game and what's going on. But you could be going, getting the momentum, and then all of a sudden there's a long pause. And it's mainly because people have to agree on something, then go tell another person and get them to agree. You have to move the message along because the up ref stays up. And so you have to tell each coach, the table, the refs, everything. You have to move it around. And that's hard for the players sometimes because you get cold and you don't know what's going on, and you have to keep your mind in the game and not worry about what all the confusion is.
In collegiate and professional volleyball, there are a lot of rules to keep track of and things like this. It's strange to think this is nothing like the game you first learn in grade school in the sand pits.
Yeah, it's very different, and rules can change year to year. But it looks like they rotated Lyon back a rotation, but are giving them back the serve. So I'm not sure why, but that seems what the setup's going to be, is they rotated it back 1 rotation to the previous rotation, and they're going to serve to the Pioneers.
All right. Not really sure what's going on, but the scoreboard up top says 14-5, and we're going to have a service by Lyon. Here is the set. Here's Deckelman, and Deckelman gets the point for Crowley's Ridge. We'll take that.
And that's when you say that the ball doesn't lie. If there's a confusion and then you come back and you get the point, the ball is saying where it should have gone in the first place.
That's one of those unintended timeouts. So it is now 6-14. Make it 7-14. After 2 quick points by Crowley's Ridge after the delay. So it is now 7-14. Going across here is taken by Hobson. Perkins will set it to Deckelman. On the heel of the hand is Tucker. Passmore to Perkins. Halverson sends it over. Here is taken by Davidson. And that's going to go out of the reach of Hannah Halverson. And it is now 15-7.
Now serving number 11, Caitlin Jackson.
Perkins gets the dig. Here is a over set by Jackson, and Jackson mistimed. That was Tagmeyer that mistimed her jump.
Now serving the libero number 5, Caitlin Perkins.
It is 15-8. And that's going to be out. So it's now 15-9. Crowley's Ridge chipping away. That's exactly what they did in the second set. It was just chip away, chip away, chip away. And here is Caitlin Perkins, a diving Serbian. Caitlin Perkins over to Stebleton. 3 Lady Nears wanted it and didn't want it at the same time. Here's an attack. A good block there from Olivia Deckelman and Emily Elms. Going across, and that's going to be floating out. And Lyon College looking out of sorts. They look frustrated, and that's a problem. And it's understandable. You have that, things are going well, and then a delay happens. The attack goes. Stebleton turns around. Here's Perkins to Deckelman. Jackson will set to Hobson, and Hobson will find a hole in front of Caitlin Perkins. So it is now 16-10.
Yeah, it's easy to get frustrated when you get in your head, when things aren't going the way you want. You get upset, you get frustrated, and that affects your movement, it affects your play, and your attitude is very important in volleyball. It's such a fast-paced game, and if you get in your head, you start making mistakes, and you can't let the other team go on a run.
Perkins to Passmore, taken by Hobson. Set goes over to Tucker. In the net, Crowley's Ridge able to poke it back over. Set goes, another big block there. Sending it across, and that is out of play. Who was that got the block? I'm unable to see that side of the net. I think it was Olivia Deckelman down there. I have a referee in my way. I can't see our middle blockers.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to see from our vantage point.
It's usually one of those usual suspects. And then Lyon College able to get the point. And Lapia Tagmeyer, 6-foot even sophomore out of Wynne, Arkansas. She will ready her service. And it goes in the net. And she'll bury her face in her hands. That's one of those tough ones.
It's really hard, and to be honest, it's embarrassing when that happens to you, because serving is one of the very few things in volleyball that it's totally up to you. It's just you doing it. It's not a team effort, and when you make a mistake, you take it personally because it's embarrassing to you, because it's everything is on your shoulders at that point.
So that goes over, attacked by Hobson. That goes up. Good job there from Olivia Deckelman to get the dig 2 times in a row. That's taken up. Hobson's going to bump it over to Taylor. Tucker, rather. Sending it over. That's out of play. Lyon College making it 18-12.
This is the time in the game where you're noticing that they're getting close to 20. You can't let them push those points and get that close to finishing a game, because then it gets in the realm of you'll have to fight and win another set to then win the game as a whole. And you don't want to do that. You want to be efficient, be strong, and take it in 3 instead of pushing it and making everyone more tired by making it go to more sets.
Joust at the net goes in favor of Lyon. It is now 19 serving 12. Powell takes the dig. Here's Halverson underhanding it across. Set going from Davidson. The attack by Hobson is out of play.
That can happen sometimes with back row attacks. Lyon has utilized more back row than the Lady Pioneers, but that's a point of preference and what's working for you. But when you're in the back row, you have to be careful to make sure to put more spin on it so it stays in instead of sailing out wide.
Stubbleton sets to Powell. Taken by the attack by James goes off the upper arm of Powell. That's one of those difficult things about, sometimes with baseball, you have to decide, are you going to overhand catch it, or are you going to underhand catch it? Same with volleyball. Are you going to, at the chest is just one of those hard things.
It's a blind spot, you might say.
Sarah Grace Duncan gets it over. A good dive there from Sherbian. And that's going to go off the back wall, and that is a point for Lyon College. It's now 21-13. And with that, head coach Carissa Wynn will talk things over with her gals as they trail at 21-13 here in set number 3. We're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we'll have the remainder of this set. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can stand, she can deal more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can stand, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Caitlin Stapleton. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
So it is 21-13, and things haven't really gone wrong for Crowley's Ridge. It's not that they're playing bad. It's just Lyon College is starting to step up and play a little bit better. But in this last few sets, down 8, what does Crowley's Ridge need to do to right that ship?
It's typically just going back to basics, making sure you're not making personal errors, things of that nature. When you quit talking, when you quit moving, which are the main things in volleyball, if you quit doing those, everything falls apart. So if you're making sure to be on your toes and talk with your team, you can handle a lot of things. Like that last play just then was a miscommunication because it was in between front row and back row who's going to take it. So you really just have to push and go back to basics to finish the game out.
10-point spread, Lyon College leading in a win-or-go-home set. Crowley's Ridge will take the point there as the service error. That was the 6th service error for the Scots. Davidson goes back to Hobson. Hobson smashes it. Here's Halverson. Halverson finds the seam, and that's a point. Hannah Halverson has been all over the court. That was just her 3rd kill of the evening. Off of 20 attempts. She leads the team in digs, 20 digs. And blocked right back by Halverson. So back-to-back points for Hannah Halverson. And it's now 23-16. Lady Pioneers were pushed to set point back in set 2 and fought back, and they are vying to do the same here in set 3. Davidson over to Hobson. Hobson off the hands of Deckelman, and that goes out of bounds. So it is once more set point. The last time it was set point, Crowley's Ridge was just down 2. This time they're down 9. A bit different.
It's
8
true,
rather.
But in volleyball, you can overcome any differential in points. You can come back from anything if you're willing to put in the work.
Halverson over to Tucker. Taken. Hobson's going to smash it over. Stebleton takes it. Set to Deckelman. Deckelman crossing the net. Davidson going back to Tucker, and Tucker's going to smash it into the hands of Caitlin Stebleton. So the sweep is no longer in the books, and so the referee thought that we were calling timeout, but that was the end of set number 3. So we're going to at least 4 after Lyon College wins their winner-go-home. It is 25-16. We'll take a timeout and get you set for set number 4 of this best-of-5 series. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
CDC is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of a novel or new coronavirus. There are steps you can take now to get ready if an outbreak occurs in your community. Make a household plan. Learn how to prepare and to take quick action if someone gets sick. Older adults and people with chronic medical conditions are at greater risk. Take extra steps to protect them. Think about what you will do if there are changes to your work schedule. And remember to always practice good health habits, such as frequently washing hands with soap and water, staying home when sick, and covering coughs and sneezes. For more information, visit cdc.gov.
This is Olivia Deckelman. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
So Crowley's Ridge takes the opening 2 sets, and Lyon College is able to save the sweep by forcing a 4th set. So the teams not swapping sides. So Lyon College again will be serving left to right. The referees are checking the rotations, making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. And they are indeed where they're supposed to be for Crowley's Ridge, as Caitlin Perkins will come in as the libero. The number 1 referee has been given the indication that we are good to go. And Caitlin Jackson, the Jonesboro native, will put it into the net to start things off with a service error. That is 7 service errors on this game for Lyon. They came into the contest with 28 in their 2 games. Going over, Olivia Deckelman. Set going to Vampiri, and she'll splash it home.
Now serving number 24, Maggie Hobson.
Maggie Hobson will do the work behind the net. Set by Jackson. Goes to Smith. Emmy Elms is going to send it across the net. That's dug out by Sherbian. Here's Smith. Smith to Perkins. And Passmore gets blocked right at the net. Stebleton goes back to Deckelman. Deckelman sends it over the net. Here is Sherbian sending to Tucker. And that's blocked by Caitlin Stebleton, and I believe that's Emmy Elms. And unable to get it over the net are the Scots. So Crowley's Ridge takes a 2-1 lead as Hannah Powell will step to the line. She'll air that over. Overpass by the Scots, but able to keep it in play. Here's Tucker. Tucker will fly it and airmail it out of bounds. So Crowley's Ridge has a 3-1 advantage at the beginning of this set 4. Crowley's Ridge with 2 sets to work with. Lyon College lose the set, lose the match. So a little bit hotter of a fire underneath the pants of the Scots. Halverson rocks and fires. Here's the set from Jackson to Smith, and Smith fires it out of play. And the Scots were hoping that it was in play, but just out. And that can be difficult. The free throw line is inches before the volleyball outline, and if you see it stay inside one line, you hope it's inside the other one. But a pair of long balls on either side. Did that ever make a difference to you? Seeing the free throw line being that close to the end line?
It depends on the school. In our gym, the paint colors are different enough that it's fine, but sometimes it's like a bright yellow next to a white or a light gray next to a white. You know, sometimes they're very close in color, and that makes it confusing. But most of the time, you're so aware of the court, you're so used to it that it's not that much of a problem.
Stebleton will set Elms. Elms rocked and fired, but a good block there coming from Lane Smith. And then getting the block is James, and she'll get the block and the point. So it's now 4-3. Stebleton's going to set back to Elms. Elms had a big hit, but that is taken by Tucker. And the return is out of play, so we're all knotted up at 4 apiece. Maria Elena Vampiri at the service line. She fires it across the net. Overpass. We're going to rock around the net a little bit. Over to Tucker. Tucker hits, blocked by Elms. Here's an attack from Hobson, and that is out of play. Lady Nears needed a side out, and they'll take it. Emmy Elms, the Paragould freshman. They'll send it across. Sherbian over the net. Here's Sarah Grace Duncan. That's blocked. We'll try it again, this time from Elms. That goes off the tip of the blockers and out of play. Crowley's Ridge takes a 6-4 advantage. Elms with another attempt. This is taken by Jackson. Jackson by James, who takes something off of it. Emmy Elms tried to dive out to get it, but she was unsuccessful.
That's why you have to be on your toes on defense because, yes, that was a tip, and yes, that's shorter than you were expecting, but some tips like that one are high enough where if you register it quickly, you can get there and get that ball.
Stebleton sets Duncan. Duncan tries to find the back corner, but it's inches off. Stephanie Tucker will, correction, that is Aaron Haywood serving. Perkins will free it over. And that's going to be tooled at the net by the Scots. That is Davidson will get credit for the point. Crowley's Ridge now trailing 6-7, but lead the match 2-1. Dump there by the Lady Pioneers, but it's kept in play by the Scots. A block by Stebbleton. Going over the Scots. Miscommunicating, and it converts to a point for Crowley's Ridge.
That was very smart from the Pioneers. Caitlin Steppleton, dumped it over, got them out. They get out of sorts and have to free ball it over. And instead of doing a pass set hit, they went straight to set, straight to hit, and the Scots weren't ready for the ball to come back yet.
Caitlin Stebbleton kind of tripping a little bit while preparing for her dig, and is unable to get that, so the Scots retake an 8-7 lead. And that will send Haddon Henley, a 5'4" freshman, hometowner from Batesville, Arkansas. Her service goes to Sarah Grace Duncan. Back to Halverson, but that's sent right back where it came from by Hobson, and that is a point for the Scots. So Haddon will serve once more. Deckelman punches it across the set, going back to find James. Deckelman will find a free ball to Caitlin Perkins. And a block by Emmy Elms, and that is good. A good block there, sending it back into play in Crowley's Ridge. Like you said, those big blocks can really change momentum.
It really makes you feel good. It really brings up the energy. It's exciting to watch. And that way you can push forward and get the momentum on your side. It brings the joy up in the room.
On the other side, Scott's getting a point. Sherbian. The attack there from Pampiri. Pampiri will pick up her 4th kill of the evening. Deckelman tries to get it across, but it's blocked. Here's Passmore, and Passmore jumped, but it was too far behind her.
You might be able to see, if you're watching, how the energy has kind of gone down in the room. It's a lot quieter. It's a lot slower. That's something you have to fight against as a team. If things aren't going the way you want, you have to keep fighting, keep the energy up. If you make a mistake, move on. But sometimes it's easier just to dwell in it or to go inside your own mind and kind of go in a shell. And that's when teams pull ahead of you. So you have to be careful and make sure you're doing the basics, like talking and moving.
So Lyon College front row showing off here, getting block after block. 10 from Hobson, taken by Halverson. The set by Stebbleton over to Deckelman. It's taken over. Good job by Halverson, keeping it in play. Here's Passmore. Passmore's attack is taken by Sherbian. Now to Hobson. Hobson will be blocked by Sarah Grace Duncan. Stebbleton will push to the other side of the net. There's a set, quick set, finding Pampiri to Passmore. And Passmore is going to try and find a spot, cannot. There's the set, finding a back row attack from Henley. Here is Olivia Deckelman. Deckelman sends it over. A great job from Davidson to keep it in play. Set from Stebbleton goes to Passmore. More great defense by the Scots, keeping this ball alive. And then it's the Scots that get the point. That front row of Lyon College. This has been their set. Before finishing up that stat roll, Lyon has 8 digs. 9 blocks. And the Scots get the point. And head coach Carissa Wynn wants to take the timeout as her Lady Nears trailing 8-15. As the Lady Pioneers lead the match 2-1. We'll take the timeout. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
This is Sarah Grace Duncan, and you're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
So we welcome you back to the Carter Activity Center. Crowley's Ridge trailing in set number 4, 8-15. So what are you seeing from Crowley's Ridge that seems different here in this set from the other three?
Yeah, you can see that they're more quiet, more reserved. They're not as excited. You know, they look kind of just still, and they're making more unforced errors, or they're not taking advantage of things that the Scots are giving them.
As Hobson will rock and fire, Hobson will pick up her 16th kill. She has a double-double on her day, 16 kills, 15 digs, has Maggie Hobson. 5'7" senior out of Oxford, Mississippi. Stebbleton will set back to Duncan, and Sarah Grace Duncan will get the point. So a much-needed side out for Crowley's Ridge. We'll get the ball to KP, Caitlin Perkins. And Perkins will serve it, and she finds it right in front of the diving Scott. And that is a service ace. Caitlin Perkins now 15 on the year. She leads the team in service aces. She sends another one across. This one finds Hobson. Hobson gets it blocked, but it stays in play. So Hobson's going to free ball it across. Set by Stebbleton to Elms. Elms gets it and tipped at the net. Lyon does a great job of keeping those blocks in play. Passmore tips it across the net. Here's the set from Davidson going off to Hobson. Hobson rolls it off the net. Set by Stebbleton to Passmore. And Passmore gets it tooled, but it's taken by Hagewood. The attack goes over by, that is Henley. Here's an attack from Deckelman, and Elms will send it over. Vampiri rocks and fires. Great job there. And the referee is going to indicate that is the end of the rally. Crowley's Ridge gets the point after being in the net, and kind of a quiet end, like nobody even knew that happened.
I didn't even see that.
I saw the referee point to the net, and sometimes he's like indicate, you're talking to the other referee of, keep a closer eye on it. But he tried to blow that whistle, and just like that, a great rally, and that's how it ends. Set by Stebbleton, goes back to Elms. Elms smashes it, but too far to the right side. So with that, Caitlin Jackson will serve. Taken by Halverson. Here's Deckelman. Deckelman goes over. Attack from Hobson. Deckelman's going to punch it across. Here is the take. And Vampiri had a huge kill, but kind of accidental dig. But there's Hobson. Hobson will smash it home. And the momentum has shifted from the right side of the floor with the girls wearing green, and now it seems to be all on this left side of Lyon. Jackson will ready her service. On its way, Halverson takes it. A dump by Stubbleton. Good idea there. Attack by Passmore. Set from Jackson going across to Hobson. Tipped back across by Stubbleton to Vampiri. Kept up. Almost got it over the net, but unable to. At what point do you realize that Hobson is on the left side of that net and is going to smash it pretty much any rally?
Well, that's something you tend to find out early. She's been doing it on and off the whole game. But you have to adjust your block. If you're not getting there, she's going to smash it in your face. So sometimes you have to cheat. You have to get set. But we've seen our block, when they get set and get there, they can block her. But what happens is if you're not getting there fast enough, if your hands aren't in the right position, if there's a hole, she's going to get the kill because she hits with such force. So you just have to get there and be set and pressed.
Crowley's Ridge gets the point, making it 11 serving 20. Oh, there's Hobson on the right side getting a kill.
In serve receive, that's a bonus of serve receive. You can move your hitters around the floor because as you rotate around, there are certain girls you can't cross in front of and things like that. So you have in serve receive, you can hit right side when you're typically an outside hitter. And so you can move your strongest hitters around the floor.
Hobson up to 18 kills. Stubbleton will push it across. Hobson takes it, set by Jackson to Maria Elena Vampiri. So it's the Vampiri-Hobson show right now. When James is on the court, she's up to 16 kills. Vampiri is up to 7. Stubbleton will set Elms, and Elms will fire. She's having trouble getting it in between the lines, so she went to the right side in her last attempt, and this time to the left side. Overcorrecting. And the Scots are 2 points away from forcing a decisive Game 5. Emmy Elms sends it across, and we will have a net violation. And at this point, Crowley's Ridge needed any kind of side out. And they will receive that in the form of a net violation. And here's who we need. Last time Lyon College was knocking on the door. Hannah Powell came. This time a bit more of a deficit, currently 11 points. Powell skies it over. That's taken by Jackson, and Jackson is unable to keep it in play. That's Tucker, rather. And so there's a service ace by Hannah Powell. That is her 8th of the year. Powell just misses getting it over the net. So it is now set point. And the Greek native, Maria Elena Vampiri, will do the honors. She'll sky it across, taken from Deckelman. Here's Halverson. Halverson taken, that's going to hit the roof, and that's one of those times the roof is your friend if you're on the other side of the floor, as it will fall to the floor. And Crowley's Ridge trailing by 10. They'll have to push 10 points, but all things are possible.
That's true.
It is good with this new insulation at Crowley's Ridge. At the beginning of the season, that would have caused some insulation to fall, but it did not. And Lyon College is going to force a set number 5 by taking this set 25-14. So it's been 109 days since the last match, but for 2 matches in a row, Crowley's Ridge takes the opening 2 sets and then allows the opponents to come back with 2 of their own. And so it will be a decisive 1st to 15 set number 5. On the other side, this is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of novel or new coronavirus. Take the following everyday steps to help avoid the spread of all respiratory viruses. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects or surfaces, such as remote controls and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And stay home if you are sick. Call your healthcare provider if you develop fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
I'm Surgeon General Jerome Adams. If you've recovered from COVID-19 confirmed by a positive test, you're in a special position to help us fight the virus. Your plasma has antibodies that may help others fight COVID. So please donate plasma now. You can literally help save lives. There are locations across the country that have safe ways for you to donate. Find a site to donate your plasma at coronavirus.gov.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at taxpayer expense.
This is Coach Wynn. This is Coach Harden. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on Pioneer Digital Network.
And we move ahead to set number 5, a fifth and decisive set. It will be the first of 15. Usually the teams would trade sides at 7, but again, with the COVID regulations in place, the teams have remained on their respective sides of the court, and they will stay here, all 15 points, as it appears Caitlin Perkins will do the honors for Crowley's Ridge. Caitlin Perkins will do the honors to start off this fifth and final set. Lyon College has returned from dropping the first 2 sets. Sherbian goes over to Smith, taken by Halverson. Halverson does get it across the net. Sherbian sets to her left side to Hobson. Hobson has to free it across. And a set by Stebleton to Elms. Elms puts some mustard on it, and that is good. So Emmy Elms gets the first point of this fifth set. 14 to go to pick up Crowley's Ridge's second win of this strange season, to say the least. Goes over, that's taken. Here's the set, going back to Hobson on the left side. Hobson mistimes her jump, and quickly ahead 2-0 is Crowley's Ridge. Going across. The set to Vampiri, taken by Halverson, pushed by Stebleton. Set by Jackson, going over to Hobson. Hobson rocks and fires, blocked by Duncan. And that's going to go into the net. Crowley's Ridge gets the point as the Crowley's Ridge bench was screaming that it appeared as though Lyon was in the net as they tried to get that.
No, what they were saying is that the refs thought that the block touched the ball, but it hit the tape, and so it should have been 4 contacts, but the refs didn't call it.
In any case, Crowley's Ridge did get the point, but Emmy Elms gets tripped up. So Crowley's Ridge still leading 3-1. Going over is Hobson. And we will have a violation on Lyon College as they went over the net. As Caitlin Stebleton was trying to set that back in play, and Lyon went over the net. And it is now a 4-1 advantage in favor of Crowley's Ridge. Set going back to Hobson. Hobson will fly it out of bounds. So a great start to this set 5. Win and go home in this set 5. Olivia Deckelman puts some English on that as it crosses over the net and spins more when it hits the net. Crowley's Ridge takes a 6-1 lead. As Coach Salmon wants to replace one of his players, he's going to send in Allie Edwards, a 6'1 sophomore. And that will be a service ace for Olivia Deckelman. The junior doing junior things as an upperclassman. 7-1. Crowley's Ridge needing 15 to get the victory. And Deckelman puts too much and serves it into the net.
Despite the error, that's how you want to start a fifth set. You want to get as many points as possible. And on the court, you're always saying first to 5, first to 10, first to 15. If you keep the momentum and you keep being the first to the milestones, you can win that fifth set.
Brooklyn Passmore gets it. Here's the set going to, that is Edwards. Attacked by Passmore, taken by Hobson. Set by Jackson, going over to Hobson. That is taken by Halverson. Set over to Passmore. Passmore gets it over. Tip stays in play. Set going back to Smith. Dug out by Deckelman. Stebleton's going to bump set over to Passmore. Passmore sends it over. And unable to decide what she wanted to do was James, but she does get it in, and a huge kill from Miss Emmy Elms. Emmy Elms reached back and sent that screaming across the net. And it is now 8-2 in favor of the home team, needing 7 points to get the victory. Hannah Powell serves across, taken, going back to Smith, dug out by Deckelman, set to Elms. Elms takes something off it, change up if you will. And Hannah Powell and Caitlin Perkins, a bit of a miscommunication there. Powell had hit it pretty much straight in the air, and Caitlin Perkins, needed to get through her to get to it. So Erin Hagewood, 5'6" sophomore out of Newport, Arkansas. She'll lefty it across. Stebleton will set Elms. Elms goes behind her head to get that. Over to Edwards. Set to Halverson. Halverson punches over. Dug out by Davidson. Attacked by Edwards. Stebleton tries to push it over the net. Hobson was there. Here's Edwards again. Halverson going back to Deckelman. Deckelman firing over. That's going to go to Sherbian. And Jackson gets it on the net, and that is for touch as that just rolled over the tip. And it is now 9-3. Emmy Elms will head to the service line. And Lyon College wants to take the timeout. And we'll take it with them. Crowley's Ridge leading 9-3, first to 15, fifth and final set. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Hannah Powell. This is Caitlin Stebleton. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Seniors Hannah Powell and Caitlin Stebleton, welcoming you back to the Carter Activity Center. Crowley's Ridge needing 6 points as they lead Lyon College 9-3. Crowley's Ridge took the opening 2 sets, and then Lyon College stormed back, and Emmy Elms will head to the service line and try and push those final 6 points. Elms goes across, taken by Sherbian. Hobson, dug out by Deckelman. Halverson just tips it across the net. Here's an attack by Edwards. Blocked back by Sarah Grace Duncan.
They got first to 5, first to 10. Let's see if they can get first to 15.
SGD with the block. It is 10 serving 3. Taken by Hagewood. Set going to find James. Here is Halverson. Halverson finds that back left corner. And that is a kill. It's a team of streaks are the Lady Pioneers. Now get them rolling, and it's hard to get them to stop, and that's what Crowley's Ridge hopes to keep doing. But they still have 4 points to go, and you can never count out this Lyon College Scots team.
Very true.
Set over to Edwards. Edwards to Halverson, and nobody finds it. Just like that, the Scots make it 4 serving 11.
At this point, it's very important to get a kill right away and get it back so that they don't have an opportunity to go on a run.
Hayden Henley, 5'4", freshman from Batesville. Again, several Batesville natives, or just outside of Batesville in Newport. Sarah Grace Duncan will be blocked, and nobody was backing her up. 4 of the 5 players were in the front court. 4 of the 6 players were in the front court, and guess where that went? The back court.
Yeah, sometimes it's really easy to get sucked in, and then there's no one behind you to get those deep balls, and you're just left out with no one there.
And the 8th service error by the Scots will send Caitlin Stebleton and Lady Nears needing 3 points. Stebleton knuckleballs it across. Here's the set going to Jones, and that is out of play. Crowley's Ridge Lady Nears needing 2 points to pick up the victory. They're second on the season, but it would be their first against Lyon in 9 attempts. But Caitlin Stebleton's going to serve that in the net. So Adia Sherbian sets Deckelman. And that's going to fall in play. And it, ladies and gentlemen, is match point for Crowley's Ridge. Crowley's Ridge, 1 point away from picking up their first win after a 109-day hiatus. Hannah Halverson will air it over. That's taken. The set goes over to Hobson. Hobson's going to send it into the fingertips of Sarah Grace Duncan and Olivia Deckelman, and that's out of bounds, and so Lyon will remain alive. Lane Smith will come back in. It remains match point, so it is all on Caitlin Jackson, a 5'6" junior. Back set going to Duncan. Taken. Hobson's going to try and get it across. She does just that. Stebleton's going to set up over to Passmore. Hobson keeps it alive to Jackson. Back to Hobson. Hobson fires. Dug out by Caitlin Perkins. Set goes to Passmore. Passmore has to go under the net, and that's out.
That ball's really hard. When it's coming at you from a weird angle, especially from behind your body, you can't turn and hit it. You know, it's hard enough to pass it, and she just couldn't get around it, get her orientation right to get the pass over.
Jackson will serve again. Dug out by Caitlin Perkins. The set to Passmore. Passmore gets it over the net. Jackson's going to set Elena Vampiri. Maria Elena Vampiri. Attack by Hobson. Stebleton sets to Perkins, who bump sets to Deckelman. Deckelman sends it off the fingertips, and the kill, point, set, match. Crowley's Ridge College will defeat Lyon College for the first time in program history, at least in the NAIA era, with a 15-8 set win and defeat Lyon College 3-2. Telling of the final score, Crowley's Ridge College defeats Lyon College 3-2. We're going to take a timeout and then come back, bringing you some post-game stats and getting you set for the remainder of the season. Again, Crowley's Ridge College defeats Lyon College 3-2. to 2. This is Crowley's Ridge College Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
My name is Grayson Taylor, and I'm the campus minister at the Ridge Connection, which is the campus ministry on the campus of Crowley's Ridge College. College is a time that is possibly the most formative time in any person's life. It's where you find out who you might marry, figure out what you want to do with your life, and you figure out if your faith is legitimate, or you figure out if you believe in God at all. At the Ridge Connection, we want to help you to find an authentic community of believers that is both encouraging and uplifting to you during your time in college. We hope that as you become more involved in our campus ministry, that you actually leave campus more like Jesus than you were when you walked in. We want to help you connect to God, connect to other people, and of course, connect on the campus of CRC. So follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Ridge Connection. You can find us on Instagram at The Ridge Connect. We are so excited to see what God does through The Ridge Connection on the campus of Crowley's Ridge College.
This is Sarah Grace Duncan, and you're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
And we welcome you back to the final time to the Carter Activity Center, where Crowley's Ridge gets their first program victory, at least in the NAIA era, over the Scots of Lyon College by a score of 3-2. Those went first set 25-22, Crowley's Ridge. Second set, Crowley's Ridge took 26-24. The third and fourth set were both won by Lyon, 25-16 and 25-14. And then the Lady Nears took set number 5, 15-8. Crowley's Ridge ended the game with 31 kills, Lyon with 58. Crowley's Ridge actually won this game with a negative attack percentage at negative .08. Lyon College had a 5.3% attack ratio. 57 assists for the Scots, 29 assists for Crowley's Ridge, 138 digs for Crowley's Ridge, 165 for Lyon. Crowley's Ridge had 9 aces, Lyon had 3. And for the blocks, Crowley's Ridge had 7, Lyon had 10. So how does that work out that Lyon College pretty much has all of the, won most of the statistical categories, but managed to lose the game?
I mean, that can happen. That happens sometimes. It all depends on when these things are happening, how influential they are in the game. And you can be hitting stronger than another team, but making more errors in a different aspect of the play, to where you're losing points that you should be keeping. When you're getting those percentages, when you're ahead of the other team, but you're still losing, you're losing those points in other areas. The Pioneers, or taking advantage of some of their mistakes. You don't want personal errors. And it just turned out that the Scots couldn't pull it out at the very end there.
So in double digits for the Lyon College Scots with a double-double is Maggie Hobson, 19 kills and 23 digs. Also in double digits, Madison James had 17 kills. Also getting some kills on their night, Maria Elena Vampiri had 7 kills, 3 kills from Lane Smith, Allie Edwards, and Lavia Tagmeyer. And 2 each out of Courtney Irby and Peyton Tucker, and 1 coming from Isabella Beasley. Looking across the way, Crowley's Ridge was led offensively by Emmy Elms, 10 kills. She had 7 digs, so just shy of a double-double. Also with kills, Olivia Deckelman had 7, 6 apiece from Brooklyn Passmore, tying her season high, and Hannah Halverson getting 6. That was not her season high. Hers is, I believe, 16. Also with kills for Crowley's Ridge, Sarah Grace Duncan and Caitlin Stebleton. So Crowley's Ridge will get this victory over the Scots of Lyon College, 3-2. So their next game will be against Williams Baptist. That will be at the Sutherland Mabee Center on March 4th at 6 p.m. And the Lady Pioneers will try and pick up their third victory of the season. So Crowley's Ridge improves to 2-12. Lyon falls to 1-2. So I'd say that the break did well for Crowley's Ridge. What do you think?
I agree. Sometimes you need that rest. Sometimes you need that time off, and it can be very beneficial so you're not wearing yourself out or getting tired or anything like that. So I agree. I think it did them a service, and it was good that they came back ready to work when they were able to get back in the gym.
So as we look down the line for Crowley's Ridge Athletics, tomorrow will be the women's basketball regular season finale as they travel to W.E. Dowell Fieldhouse in Springfield to take on Baptist Bible College. And then this weekend will be the AII tournament right here at Crowley's Ridge College. That will first game will be at noon, February 26th. That will be Fisher College and the College of the Ozarks will be playing each other at 12. Then Crowley's Ridge Lady Pioneers will take on the Red Lions of Lincoln Christian. That will be at 2 p.m. Then at 5 p.m., the top-seeded Pioneers will take on the Bobcats of the College of the Ozarks. And then the nightcap at 7 p.m. on Friday, it will be Lincoln Christian and Voorhees College out of South Carolina. And then the championship games. Win on Friday, and you're into the national tournament. Top two teams from the AII will advance to the national tournament. So win and you're in. Women's championships at 4 o'clock, men at 7. All of that will be broadcast live here on the Pioneer Digital Network. But the next broadcast will not be that. The next broadcast will be softball. The softball home opener, Lord willing, will be Thursday at 1 and 3. And a doubleheader against Hannibal LaGrange. So a busy week for the Pioneers with baseball also playing at Southwestern Christian. But I believe that will do it. Any parting thoughts, Miss Olivia?
I'm glad we got a win here in our last home game of the season for the volleyball team. I wish them luck as they move forward and as they finish up their season here in the spring. And I can't wait for more volleyball next fall.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Again, the next broadcast will be this Thursday with softball. And the Lady Pioneers will next travel to Williams Baptist. That will be on March 4th at 6 p.m. So we thank you for joining us tonight. Until we see you again, we want to say goodnight and God bless.